Hi to all of you. Prepare yourself for some major WNBA drama as we get started. Now that Cheryl has publicly disparaged Caitlin Clark, things are getting hotter, but before we spill all the beans, please make sure you really don't want to miss this exhilarating adventure, I assure you. The Atlanta Dream just achieved a remarkable accomplishment. They shattered the record for the most crowd at a Georgia WNBA game. The Caitlin Clark effect is driving a lot of the enthusiasm and driving people insane. The Caitlin train is not being taken by everyone, especially not Indeed, since Sheryl Swoopes is the one who challenges the data. She might be Caitlin's greatest adversary. Making ludicrous claims and raising questions about Caitlin's age, let's analyze everything and wait to find out what happened once Nancy Lieberman got involved in making things right. Folks, pay attention. Is this just some false information from Next Level, or is it an expression of envy?
Dream set the record for the biggest crowd to watch a WNBA game in Georgia history.
Pretty exciting. One of the big reasons fans flock to State Farm Arena is, of course, the Caitlin Clark effect.
Not everyone is willing to give her the credit she so richly deserves, even though everyone cheers for her every time she steps onto the court. As it seems that Sheryl Swoopes is the unofficial president of the Caitlin Clark Critique Club. Let's get some popcorn and see what's going on.
Going to break a record, to me, if it's legitimate, you have to break that record in the same amount of time that that player set it.
Okay.
So if Kelsey Plum set that record in 4 years, well, Caitlin should have broke that record in 4 years. But because there's a COVID year and then there's another year, you know what I mean? So she's already had an extra year to break that record. So is it truly a broken record? Yeah, that'll go in the record books as Caitlin Clark is the all-time, whatever it is. I don't even know what the number is, but that's the way it'll be. And I don't think it should be.
Wait. She has more to say.
Let's also talk about how much more experience that gives you over other players coming in, right? So people say, dang, like he or she's killing them. But you have a 25-year-old playing against a 20-year-old. Like, you should be killing them. Because you've been doing it a lot longer than they have. Clark right now probably takes about 40 shots a game.
Here we go.
Let us rectify the situation definitively. Initially, she attempted to accuse Co. and claim that Caitlin played college basketball for 5 years. Nope, Caitlin broke the record in fewer games while playing 4 years, much like Kelsey Plum. Nice try, but then she claimed Caitlin plays with 40 shots every game. Caitlin didn't even come close to her career average of roughly 19 shots per game. Either she is making up outrageous stories out of jealousy, or her statements are entirely out of touch. Indeed, and as the icing on the cake, she added that even though Caitlin is 25, she is only 22 in sports, a notable age difference. Even glance at the data briefly or choose numbers at random. How much more can she say? Yes, Caitlin is playing in her 30s. Kathy, what's taking place here? Although Caitlin has accomplished a lot, your story is not supported by the facts. It has been reported that Nancy Liberman tried to phone you to alert you. Maybe you might answer the next time.
There was this quote by Cheryl that said, Caitlin was, 25 years old. She was, however old, 24 years old. She was a fifth-year senior.
Right.
She was taking 40 shots a game. Her records were illegitimate. And I got off the treadmill and I called her as a friend. And I said, you can say whatever you want. You can have your own opinion about anybody. But you do have to get the statistics right. I mean, facts matter.
Cheryl, you know I'm not doing anything to hurt you. I told Swoopes when she got agitated with me on the phone. But had she followed Nate's counsel, things would have gone differently, and she ended up destroying their relationship. As you to be clear, we are talking, but right now, our relationship is not really growing. She wouldn't talk to me when I tried to strike up a conversation with her at the Final Four. With or without Cher, I don't think my life will be any better. Cheryl jumps right in.
Well, she got upset with me on the phone, and I was like, Cheryl, I'm not doing anything to hurt you. I'm just sharing. We're talking. And so our relationship it pretty much is not happening at this point. I tried to talk to her at the Final Four. Right. She didn't want to talk to me. My life's going to be good or great with or without.
Though I understand why you're trying to work with him, it's not working. You both know exactly what happened, and to be honest, I could live just fine without you both. Are you truly considering going there? Cheryl quickly decided that she could take no more and would not be content to ignore the situation. She then went to X, where she made it clear in one of her venomous tweets that she had no desire to work with Nancy. Honestly, none of Swoopes' tweets have convinced her fans that she doesn't harbor some jealousy toward Caitlin Clark. It's possible that Swoopes finds it difficult to acknowledge that Caitlin Clark is a better player than she is. Players from a new generation are taking the lead, but Swoopes has expressed her respect for other players like Angel Reese, so why the added spiciness with Caitlin? She provided her usual observations on her podcast, Queens of the Court, but there was one glaring omission. Although she gave the Indiana Fever a hearty shout-out, she left out Caitlin Clark, who, let's be honest, has been the driving force behind the team's rise to popularity. Without crediting the player who has virtually made them a powerhouse, how can one talk about the Fever? It would be equivalent to discussing pizza without bringing up the cheese.
Indiana team, I'm going to say shout out to Lexi Hull. I'm a big Lexi Hull fan. Watch her in AU. Lexi Hull shot the leather off the ball in their game against Seattle and just couldn't miss. Kelsey Mitchell is just stroking. She is just shooting the basketball. Aaliyah Boston almost a
It's intriguing to note that she made sure to give Angel Reese a lot of praise even though she lost the match. Doesn't take away from the appreciation you deserve.
Before I get into that, I am going to say this. Shout out to Angel Reese, even in a loss. Listen, 20 boards.
It's crazy.
20 boards. Say what you want to say about how she's getting all these rebounds. You can get 20 rebounds. I don't care if you're rebounding your own. But the thing is with Angel just has a knack for the basketball.
It seems like Angel has perfected the knack of improving her rebounding numbers. Even when she misses, she can still make amazing layups. Now, Nancy Liberman said, "Hold up, you can't just leave Caitlin out of the conversation," to cut you off. Nancy was not impressed, and things got hot very soon.
No, Caitlin Clark. Sheryl Swoopes. No, Caitlin Clark. Respectfully, Sheryl Swoopes, you have any idea how that makes you look? You just accidentally left Caitlin Clark's name out of that soliloquy that you dropped about the Indiana Fever. Stop it. You know that. Stop.
Sheryl was not going to let that go unanswered. Clapping back, she fiercely defended her right to hype up whoever she chose, calling Stephen A. coward. Hold on for a second. Why can't I talk freely about everything and everyone as you do on your podcast? Sheryl fired back. Did you even listen to the entire episode or what? By refusing to back down, Stephen A. made it clear that this isn't about your friendships. She went on to say that the athletes deserve some care because she had personal relationships with them. Again, were you too preoccupied to talk over people? Kathy, don't just give credit where credit is due. Give it where it deserves it. Stephen A., get moving.
Yes, I did listen to your entire podcast. You didn't mention Caitlin Clark. All I'm going to say is it was pretty damn immature to come back at me like that. Called me an effing coward because I called you out for not doing your...
Many individuals undoubtedly agree with Stephen A.'s exclamations from the rooftops on the revolution in women's basketball, while some, like Sheryl Swoopes, claim to be in favor of the league, but are apparently unaware of a few important players. Her cold shoulder toward Caitlin Clark is one example of this. The WNBA broadcast team's classic "no drama, please move quickly" bench swoop during the Indiana Fever Dallas Wings game didn't go ignored. The legendary Nancy Lieberman took her place and spoke candidly about Clark, if perhaps with a little less drama and a lot more zeal.
Clark has done for the game is generational, and I just, as a baller to a baller, I just want to say thank you to you, Caitlin Clark.
Absolutely.
For just lifting our game up, you and so many great players. But what you're doing, you're going to make all these women multimillionaires one day, like Tiger did, like Michael Jordan did. And we shouldn't hate on her. We should celebrate her.
Never one to back down from drama, Swoopes decided to go after Nancy Lieberman once more. She also disparaged Stephen A. Smith, saying that helpful old Stephen had conveniently neglected to question Nancy about the whole Kennedy Carter shoulder check event. She apparently hopped on X this time because, allegedly, Twitter wasn't cool enough. Kennedy was clearly trying to stir things up by calling out Nancy for her bold words when she gave Caitlin Clark the old body bump. But it was like attempting to put out a fire after the smoke had dissipated because Nancy had already cleared everything out.
You know me, I'm straight from New York, straight from Rucker Park. I said I would have gotten up, I would have walked up to whoever did that to me, I would have punched him in the face, and you know the expletive that I used. And I would have said, F off. That is who I
When Swoopes posted that one of Caitlin Clark's fans had allegedly called a fan threateningly, it went viral on social media. She accused Nancy Lieberman and Stephen A. Smith of starting a flurry to heighten the drama, and she even named them in the post. Since it's the most responsible thing to do in a situation like this, she also disclosed the purported caller's phone number. She later removed the tweet after it generated controversy. Although she didn't go into excellent detail about the conversation, the fact that she made the number public indicates it wasn't just a lighthearted catch-up chat. "Someone just called me and threatened me," was the gist of the message. "I don't know how they obtained my phone number, but is this really how you guys want to play?" Even if the Swoopes story is accurate, it seems excessive to suggest that Liberman and Stephen A. are solely responsible for the issue. Undoubtedly, that fan went too far, as if blaming the weatherman for ruining your picnic because it was going to rain. The drama started because Swoopes refused to remedy the situation. A public mishap, though supposedly Liberman contacted her to counsel her to behave morally instead of apologizing in public. Caitlin Clark is such a class act that Swoopes chose to keep things low-key and get in touch with her directly. During their exchange, Swoopes said something along the lines of, "Hey Caitlin, I'd like to congratulate you on all of your accomplishments, but I made a mistake with the year. I'm doing this for all of you. Your game has truly impressed me." Swoopes wished Caitlin a wonderful night and complimented her on her performance as the chat came to an end. "The worst part is this." With unwavering composure, Caitlin said, "No worries at all. There's no negative feeling, and I appreciate you reaching out. I appreciate all of your efforts on behalf of women's basketball. If you've offended someone, you ought to apologize in public, but you decided to handle it behind closed doors." On the other hand, Caitlin's influence is obvious to everyone because Nancy Lieberman has openly commended her for her services to the WNBA.
Caitlin Clark has just caught the attention of the world. She might be right now, maybe her and Simone Biles, the most visible women athletes in the world right now. And this is a good thing for sports. And internally, we can be women. We could be our worst enemies. We should embrace people who take us to another level. And she's done that, and it's proven from her collegiate days with TV, with jersey sales, with arenas being filled. Why wouldn't you want to ride that train to success? Because it will change your tax bracket, increment.
It is very important to honor a basketball legend like Nancy Lieberman, who was elected into the Hall of Fame in 1996 for her outstanding contributions to the game. Lieberman, who has 66 years of experience in the game, expressed her opinion that Caitlin Clark is making changes in real time, stating that the WNBA would have had a strategic advantage if Clark had been a member of the 2024 Olympic women's basketball squad.
He very well could have played and should have played. In my opinion, I align with you on Team USA. For Caitlin and the Fever, I think 5 of the highest rated games this year have all been Indiana Fever. They lead in jersey sales. They lead in attendance. Any significant category that's tied to dollars and cents. And that's how we should be viewed, dollars and cents. Because that's how you build a business. Then everybody goes up and everybody...
Stephen cut Chase off to ask Nancy about the true problem, which appears to be that some people don't believe Caitlin Clark has enough potential. And Caitlin's positive impact on women's basketball has been acknowledged by Dawn Stanley, indicating her effect on the sport.
I want to personally thank Caitlin Clark for lifting up our sport. So Caitlin Clark, if you're out there, you are one of the GOATs of our games that we appreciate.
The controversy surrounding Swoopes' criticism of Caitlin Clark exposes a deeper problem in sports wherein personal biases and emotions can overshadow the recognition of undeniable talent. Nancy Lieberman and other prominent figures have consistently praised Caitlin Clark for her impact on women's basketball, highlighting the importance of celebrating athletes who elevate the game. The conflict between Swoopes and Lieberman highlights the difficulties in resolving disagreements in the public eye. It is stoked by interactions on social media and remarks made by members of the public. Lastly, Caitlin Clark's impact is seen in her record-breaking performances and expanding fan base. Regardless of Swoopes' feelings on Clark's rise, not only do they bring in more viewers and attendees, but they also alter the conversation about women's sports. The overwhelming support that Caitlin has received from fans and industry giants like Liberman shows that her contributions to the game are valued and appreciated. The WNBA's future success will depend on its ability to assemble players with the caliber of talent that Clark possesses. Okay, that's it for today, people. What a dramatic tornado. Nancy Lieberman intervened to correct the record between Sheryl Swoopes and Caitlin Clark. Tell me what you think, please. Was it wrong of me to point that out to Caitlin? Feel free to share your thoughts below so that you won't miss any of the most recent WNBA news. I'm hoping to see you in the upcoming one.